You should go back to the bar and entertain your friends.
What?
You're boring me.
Well, why don't you step outside and I'll entertain you?
Wait a minute, you guys. I'm gonna get in trouble. Nikki, would you please go back to the bar?
Creeps like McGee here give me a royal pain. You come...
Hey. Do like she says. I just want to sit here and have a drink and listen to the lady play the piano.
I'll see you later, McGee.
Who picks a fight with Sam Elliott? That's like challenging a grizzly bear to a staring contest. Spoiler alert, the bear wins every time. G'day guys, Holy Critics signing in. Today, we're revisiting Travis McGee, a forgotten classic from the early 80s starring Sam Elliott and Katharine Ross. This laid-back mystery takes us deep into the Florida waterways, blending danger, intrigue, and just a hint of romance. Sam brings his trademark rugged charisma to the title role, delivering a performance that hooks you right from the very start. It's one of my top 5 Sam Elliott TV movies, and for good reason. But you'll have to stick around to find out why it made the cut. So let's begin.
Captain, you all right?
Bet I am, Meyer. Right now, I'm real good.
Good. That deal in London took a lot out of you, Travis.
Sitting around doing nothing will take it out of anybody. Gives you too much time to think.
You're not doing that again, are you? That old who am I? What am I doing? What's it all coming to routine?
Yeah, I guess so.
Well, what's your answer?
Immortal words of Popeye, I am what I am. So I go on, right?
Right. You endure. You enjoy what you can, but you go on.
Meyer, I think I'm just getting tired of taking in other people's dirty laundry.
And stop taking in laundry. Concentrate on your own.
Going over to my boat to make some calls. See you later for dinner.
I'll be there.
Thank you, Beckwee, for another safe passage.
How's fishing, McGee?
Pretty good, Van.
They say Fozzo's fishing out of here now, huh?
Yeah, you're doing all right from what I hear.
I was up here last year, seeing who's around and how things was a-going. Didn't happen to run into you, McGee.
This time you looked me up.
I got myself some real trouble, Travis.
What kind of trouble, Van?
Lost my license.
Come on aboard, I'll buy you a cup of tea.
Well, until that night, he'd never had no woman aboard except his wife and daughter.
What night, man?
The night Hub Lawless drowned,
When was this?
22nd of March. He fell off the Julie somehow. Well, I'd been down to Sand Point about 6 years, ever since Mr. Hub hired me to skipper the Julie.
I know that. What happened the night Lawless drowned?
They come aboard about 9 o'clock, Hub and Mr. Tuckerman. John Tuckerman was sort of an unofficial assistant. They brought these two women aboard, tight pants, airline carry-ons, perfume, giggles. I didn't like it one bit when Mr. Hub brought them girls aboard, because I'd always run a family boat for him. He named her after his wife, Julie. Once I cleared the point, I set a course for San Diego. Then Mr. Lawless brought me my bourbon and water up to the bridge.
I thought you'd quit the booze.
I did, but this was the one drink that we had between us whenever we'd go out, just to show that I could still handle it. Well, that's all I remember till I woke up back on the dock. Hack Ames, the sheriff, he's kicking me awake. Said he didn't want to try to pick me up because I stunk so bad I'd throw it up all over my clothes.
Funny thing for him to do if he thought you were sick.
He called me a killer. Said I run the Julie on a sandbar and caused Mr. Hub to fall overboard.
Did you?
Well, I told you, McGee, I just don't remember. Not long after I had that drink, I felt kind of a buzzing in my head. Seemed like the Julie was climbing a big black wave that curled over the top. Well, they took my good name, Travis. It's about all I really ever had.
Oh, Van, I don't see how
They had an inquiry, and they held me negligent. I haven't got no papers. Can't work at my trade. But I heard that if someone loses something that's real important to them, you'd try to get it back, and if you did, you keep half what it's worth.
That's close enough. So?
Well, I figure my good name's worth at least $20,000. I'll give you a paper. It'll say that if you can find a way to show it wasn't my fault, I'll pay you $10,000 over whatever time it takes me to make it and pay it. It's all there. Transcript from the inquiry. Who said what about what happened? She is.
Van. I don't want to say yes or no about this right now. Let me walk it around a little bit. Probably talk to Meyer about it. I'm going to be working here all day tomorrow. Why don't you come back in the afternoon?
Well, thank you, McGee. I'll see you tomorrow.
You ever find the body?
Just the life ring. One Tuckerman threw him when he went overboard.
Everything Van Harter had was wrapped up in that request. His pride, his dignity, his seafaring career, his total worth as a man. Somehow I had the feeling that I was the very last chance he'd been able to think of. Travis McGee, salvage expert.
Whole thing happened while you were away. Front page for a couple of days.
Sounds like this Lawless was a pretty big operator.
And he was trying to be. Sands Point was his baby. Practically developed it from scratch. His and a lot of other people's. Even tried to get a client of mine involved. Now it's all just one big bag of wet mice.
Old Van said he left a wife behind, Julie.
Also an insurance policy for somewhere around $2 million.
What's the status on that?
Well, my friend on the vine tells me that there is much unhappiness in the hearts of the policy carriers. There's great wailings and gnashings of teeth heard from the high-rises. And meanwhile, they aren't paying off.
What are they saying? No body, no proof of death?
Natural.
Good to see you back, McGee.
Hey, how you doing, Nora?
I'm going to crew for Maynard in the Transpac.
Oh, yeah? That'd be a little dangerous.
Nah, it's a good boat.
I'm talking about Maynard.
I'm open to a reasonable alternative.
I remember that.
You do that. So long, Meyer.
So what happened after... Hey. So what happened after Lawless and Tuckerman found Van passed out on the bridge?
Tuckerman took the helm. Lawless went forward to point the way. He pointed to starboard. Tuckerman figured he meant to turn right. So he did. They hit the sandbar. Said he realized then that Lawless was pointing out the problem, not where to steer. The impact threw Lawless overboard. They couldn't find him. So, what do you think of Van Harter's story?
Van's a reliable person. So let's just say it was a heart attack, or a stroke, or a savage bout of food poisoning, or even somebody put something in his drink. But in any event, I think we can safely say that Lawless left the boat before it returned. Now he left on purpose, or by accident, and in any case, he either died or he left town.
I don't know what I'd do without your help.
It's simple mathematics, McGee. Permutations and combinations.
Meyer, I visited Sands Point one time. I'm sick of all those red hots and overachievers. I don't want any part of it.
I'm glad you talked me into going with you, McGee. Life's been getting a little flat lately.
Meyer,
It's me, Travis.
Okay, Van. I'll go down to Sands Point and see what I can dig up.
Well, I surely do appreciate that. Did you fix up that paper for me to sign?
Yeah. We can work something out.
Well, I can't get my honor back with one hand, take it away with another. Either it's a deal or it's not.
It's a deal. Early the next day, we were on our way to Sands Point. My old friend Meyer is an intelligent, amiable, ambling bear who looks like the diorama of early man in the Museum of Natural History. He is by trade a financial consultant. He is consistently right in his trend predictions, so his services are always in demand, and he has the luxury of picking his shots. Meyer had arranged for a cover story for us in Sands Point. It was in the form of a letter from a major conglomerate on the East Coast. It was on their corporate letterhead, signed by the chairman of the board, and it had the slightly tainted smell of big money. It introduced us as real estate scouts for the corporation, probably just the ticket we needed to get us in the front door. When we got to Sands Point, Meyer took his letter and headed for the bank. I took my copy and went looking for the local sheriff, a man named Hack Ames.
Nice meeting you, McGee. What can I do for you?
Well, like the letter says, my company's considering some real estate investments in Sands Point.
What's that got to do with me?
Well, the land we're interested in happens to belong to Hubbard Lawless.
So?
So is he dead or alive? If there's any doubt, which I hear there is, I'd say your local economy might be a little shaky. Our company could help that situation.
Our investigation shows that Hub Lawless may be very much alive.
When do you think you'll know?
I just gave one of my deputies, Wright Fletcher, leave of absence to go to Mexico with an investigator from the insurance company that holds a big policy on Hub's life.
Why Mexico?
Well, he didn't go anywhere by boat, we know that. He didn't go by plane, we checked all the flights. But his Jeep's been missing ever since that night. Big old red Jeep he used to run up and down on the beach. Got big dune buggy tires on it. That's the ideal vehicle to go south to Mexico.
Missing Jeep doesn't necessarily spell Mexico, Sheriff.
Tell you the truth, we got this letter from L.A. Got a typewritten note in it and a slide. The man in this picture looks like the man on TV news. I took this April 8th in Guadalajara. I can't give you my name or address because my boyfriend thinks I was in San Diego visiting my sister. We had a couple hundred of them printed up. That's Hub Lawless, all right. That's also Guadalajara. Date on the back says it was printed in L.A. in April. That puts him in Mexico about 2 weeks after he was supposed to have drowned.
That's the World Center for Cosmetic Surgery, isn't it?
You sound good at your job, McGee. What is your job, anyway? That letter's a little vague.
What makes a man like Lawless skip town?
Well, there's evidence he was having money trouble.
If you think Lawless bailed out for Mexico, then that boat captain of his wasn't responsible for anybody dying, was he?
Maybe not, but he was drunk that night.
Did you test him?
Didn't need to.
How's that?
Well, he looked drunk, smelled drunk, walked drunk, talked drunk. He was a drunk, had plenty of D&D jail time to prove it.
That was a lot of years ago, Sheriff.
You talk like you know him.
We've been fishing together.
Well, I have to admit that those two girls aboard swore that Hub only took one drink up to him, but Van Harter probably had a bottle in his pocket, drained it dry, and heaved it overboard. Oh, those reformed drunks, McGee, they're the worst once they fall off.
Something special you got against drunks, Sheriff?
I was married to one for 20 years.
That why you kicked Van Harter that night?
Some sort of money trouble, that's how he put it?
Word for word.
Well, he's a man of considerable understatement.
He's also a man you wouldn't want to underestimate. You down for the night?
Between crewing for you and deceiving local bankers, there's been sufficient under the day.
I was a local banker.
Informative. Mr. Devlin Boggs of the Sands Point Mutual Bank tells me that Hub Lawless wanted to make Sands Point the top resort community on the West Coast. Except he was trying to build Rome on a Fresno budget. His whole empire was ready to crumble. Then he disappeared, and they found that somewhat over $1 million had disappeared right along with it. And Mr. Boggs gave me some of his business cards with a little "to whom it may concern" written on the back of them. Might open a few doors.
You do good work, Meyer.
Which sounds best? Crab remoulade or sweetbreads Adolfo?
I'd go for the peanut butter and jelly sandwich.
Where's your celebrated spirit of adventure?
You call room service an adventure?
Where are you going?
Down to the bar.
We got a heavy day tomorrow.
That's why I'm starting in the bar. They usually serve up the best gossip in town. Besides, it's a happy hour. Wake you for breakfast?
Gently, please.
I'm in love with you. First you love me, then you snub me. What can I do? I'm still with you. I guess I'll never see the light, 'cause I get the blues most every night since I fell for you. Since I fell
Nice voice.
Thanks. I'm Billie Jean Bailey.
Travis McGee. Yeah. Buy you a drink?
Yeah, sure.
Good.
Yo, Penny. So, when'd you get into town?
This afternoon. Not much about the town.
Well, if you're looking for action, you're not gonna find a lot around here.
You're all the action I need, Billie Jean Bailey.
If you meant what I think you meant.
Woo, woo. I'm just talking about sitting here and having a drink and listening to a lady play the piano.
Okay. You know, I keep my guard up real high, but, you know, you work in a joint like this and you don't even talk to the guys.
I understand. So, friends?
Yeah. So what are you doing here?
I'm here with a friend of mine. He's checking into some property that belonged to a man named Lawless.
You have got no idea the people that have come to town because of Hub Lawless. Let me see. There has been the IRS, zoning people, bank investigators, and insurance examiners, the media, the FBI. Really.
Did you know him?
Just casual. You know, he came in a couple of times, always had a lot of people around him.
Ever meet a man named John Tuckerman?
You meet Hub Lawless, you meet John Tuckerman. Yeah.
What do you say, BJ?
Oh, hi, Nikki. I'd like you to meet a friend of mine. This is Harris McGee. This is Nikki Noise.
What do you say, Magoo?
Nikki used to work for Hub Lawless.
Oh, yeah?
So I used to work for Hub. Isn't that fascinating? So, you want to go over to Stell's tonight?
I don't think so.
You'd rather sit around here and let somebody pick your brain about Hub.
Come on, Nikki. He's not here about Hub. He's here about buying some land or something.
And you don't know the first thing about Hub, I bet.
I just heard some hick businessman and one of his cronies took a couple of hookers out on a cabin cruise and everybody got slopped. The hired captain passed out and the local big shot fell overboard and drowned and everybody got worked up about it.
Lawless didn't drown.
Nikki!
Shut up, BJ. 1, he sold off all the trucks for cash cheap. 2, he stopped paying the bills coming due. And at the very end, he closed out all the bank accounts. 3, that girl left town the next day.
Oh, what girl's that?
What am I doing? It's none of your business anyway, right, Magoo?
Right, Noise. You should go back to the bar and entertain your friends.
What?
You're boring me.
Well, why don't you step outside and I'll entertain you?
Wait a minute, you guys. I'm gonna get in trouble. Nikki, would you please go back to the bar?
Creeps like Magoo here give me a royal pain. You come...
Hey. She do like she says. I just want to sit here and have a drink and listen to the lady play the piano.
I'll see you later, Magoo.
I have to get back to work.
Yeah, I can see that.
Listen, my last set's at 11. Why don't you wait for me?
I'll have dinner when you get finished singing. I'll wait for you outside then.
Okay. Well, I'll see you later.
All right.
I quit. I've had it.
Get some rest, Nikki.
I'm not through with you, Magoo.
Go on.
happened here?
Oh, I was just finishing my talk with Nikki.
Jack doesn't see you. He's not gonna like this at all.
Jack. Who's Jack?
He's the manager of this place, and he doesn't like the help. That's me getting involved in anything weird or causing trouble. You think you'll need a doctor?
I think just an ice cube will do.
Well, come on, I got some.
So what's with you and Nikki?
Nikki and I used to go together. Now we don't. He's not exactly too thrilled about it.
I kind of gathered that. You always on a fight like that?
Nikki likes a good fight. I tell you, this lawless thing, it's hurt a lot of people in this town. Nikki was one of them.
Yeah, how's that?
He made good bucks working for Lawless. Liked to party, throw his money around. He was doing a lot of coke. Then Lawless disappears, he loses his job. He started dealing to support his habit. And he started getting real mean. So I decided to end it. I'm not very good at doing this.
What'd Nikki mean about that girl leaving town the next day?
Kristen Peterson. She worked for Lawless Architects, something like that. And everybody said they had something going.
I thought Lawless was married.
Married men don't fool around. Hey, McGee, listen, why don't you take this shirt off and I'll get the blood out of it for you?
It's all right, Billie Jean.
No, really, it's a nice shirt. I'd like to save it for you. Come on.
Full of surprises, are you?
It's a woman's prerogative, McGee. Haven't you heard that? Besides, it's kind of been a funny time for me lately. You know, I've been kind of listless and bored and lonesome. You know, like I'm waiting for something to happen. You know what I mean, McGee?
Yeah, I think I do, Billie Jean.
But if you were to happen to me, be okay. Regardless of what I said before.
Would I?
Yeah, I would. Hey, how about a little smoke? Make you feel better.
I feel fine.
How about a little coke? I got some of that.
From Nikki the Nose? No, thanks. Never got into pharmaceuticals.
Okay, I'll ask you. Would you spend the night with me? What's going on?
Gotta leave, Billie Jean.
What do you want to go for?
Be daylight soon. Don't want old Jack watching me sneak out of here, do you?
Sure saw her in the shower.
What?
I have before. Put shirt on a hanger in the shower. Don't go yet.
I have to, Billie Jean.
Hey, McGee. How come you want to leave?
Thought you didn't want old Jack watching me.
You guys are all alike, aren't you? You get everything you want. Then you just walk away.
Night, Billie Jean.
Don't slam the door on your way out, Magoo.
Too much travel, too much drink, stupid brawl. Finally, a nice little lady who was just lonely enough to be potential trouble. By diligent effort, I seem to be prolonging my adolescence to total absurdity. Looking for some morning news? Mystery woman Kristen Peterson, employed as an architect by Hubbard Lawless, disappears a day after alleged drowning. Nicholas Noyes, one-time superintendent of Hub Law Construction, states that Lawless sold off equipment for cash before disappearing and cleaned out all bank accounts.
So?
Don't you want to write it down?
What happened to your face?
Nicky Noyes took an instant dislike to it.
I didn't see his point.
And one of your problems, Meyer?
Spare me.
You're not a morning person. Well, this must be the place. Quite a palace, huh?
Supposedly, Lawless gave Tuckerman this piece of land. Going to build him a house when the development started. 2 years, and he's still waiting for the groundbreaking ceremony.
Hey there.
Hey there. I'm Meyer. It's McGee.
Gretel Howard.
John Tuckerman around? We'd like to talk to him.
Depends. What do you want to talk to him about?
Well, we're trying to clear up the title on some Hubbard Lawless holdings so our firm can make an offer.
Real estate people? Not really.
Not really. I'm here doing a favor for a friend. Meyer just came along for the sale.
What do you want to talk to him about?
Van Harter?
You mean you want to talk about Hubbard Lawless?
His name will come up, I'm pretty sure.
Been an awful lot of people asking him about Hubbard.
They do have cause.
He said it all many, many times. He's like a stuck record. He doesn't need to go over it again. Do you know what I'm saying?
I'm just asking Van Harter questions.
Harter and Van Harter. You're what, Mr. McGee? I mean, what class of intruder are you?
I'm trying to get Van Harter's license back. He lost it over all this.
Seems like he came out real well, only losing a license.
Happened his self-respect was stapled to it. The man's a sailor. This thing said he was a bad sailor. Different things hold us up. You know what I'm saying?
John's up the beach. You can't miss him. It might make him anxious to see two of you coming.
How's it on spin dry?
Beyond belief.
You've heard of laundromats.
Yeah, I know. I could have bundled all this scrunchy stuff up and gone laundromatting with a lot of gratitude for civilization, the benefits of. But I have this pioneer hang-up. I love doing things the hard way.
Hey there.
Hey there.
How's it going?
Pretty good. How's fishing?
Well, they're out there, but I'm not bringing them in.
What are you using, John?
Anchovies. Fish to catch fish. That's all those little devils do. Eat each other night and day, day and night. You ever think about that going on?
Yeah, it's crossed my mind. Same thing goes on back here on land, doesn't it?
Hell yes, goes on everywhere. How'd you know my name?
Gretel told me where I could find you.
Oh.
Known John long?
All my life.
Oh.
She takes real good care of me. I can't remember the last time I had a drink.
You got a kick out of her when we got here. She was up there doing the laundry in those big drums.
Yeah, Gretel is stubborn. She gets these ideas about things. She wants to see just how independent of everything we can become. No telephones, no power companies. She even brought in a load of dirt to try and start a garden. She won't give up on anything, ever.
Hey, Meyer? So now they think that Lawless is down south of the border somewhere, lying in the sun with his lady love.
And they hate it. They hate thinking old Hub maybe got away from him. They hate anybody getting away.
What about Van Harter? What'd you put in his drink?
Bourbon and water, long, no ice. Hub called it Van Harter's nail. He used to hammer one in just to feel the pain, old Hub said.
Why don't you let old Van off the hook, John? Lawless is dead, it doesn't matter.
I said plenty. I told my story. They wrote it down and played it back and minced it up, and every time it comes out the same, every time. Hub got lost off the Julie. A big sea got him, took him over. I don't want to talk about it anymore.
He doesn't want to talk about it.
I heard him. I'm abusing your hospitality. I'm sorry.
You would have liked old Hub.
I think it's pretty low to keep digging and digging away at someone who...
What? You won't tell the truth?
I don't know. He can be tricked, like a child.
The way I was tricking him?
Yes, it made me mad.
Didn't hide it.
Short fuse, friend.
How long have you two been together?
She's his sister, McGee.
Mrs. Lawless in? My name's McGee. I called her a little while ago.
Yes, she's expecting you. She's at the back of the house. You can go that way.
Thank you.
How desperate you must be to see me, Mr. McGee. Scarcely 10 minutes have lapsed since you called.
I'm on the prod, ma'am.
On the prod?
It's quite a collection you have here.
Yes. Hubbard never stinted on his material needs. See anything you're particularly interested in?
A couple of nice rods here. But I have a couple of nice rods.
What are you on the prod about?
A man named Van Harter.
Van Harter. I never liked him.
Why is that, ma'am?
Don't call me ma'am again. I never liked him because he didn't like me. I'm a pagan, he's a Christian. An old enmity lay between us.
You think he got drunk and caused your husband's death?
I'm not able to answer that, I don't know.
You think your husband's dead?
Do you think I'd sell his clothes if he weren't?
Sure I do.
I've known Hubbard Lawless for 20 years. It was the older woman in his life who initiated him into many things. That's what I am on this plane, an initiator. I saw him make his first million. I saw him lose it. I saw him through his first affair and all of his other vices. And then I lost him. You only get so long.
What'd you lose him to?
Time, his age, his absurd midlife angst. Of course, there was another woman. A Viking with an incredible burnished body. The talent for convincing a man he could be immortal. I think he planned to run away with her to a life of unceasing vigor and minimal thought. But it didn't work out. Because he's dead.
How do you know that?
I can feel it. I can feel he's not there. And he was. Burning in the pit of me. And it's out. Whatever it was. And he's dead, Mr. McGee.
Suppose somebody showed you a picture taking your husband in a sidewalk cantina in Guadalajara a couple of weeks after the accident.
I'd say it was a fake.
Who'd bother to fake it?
The insurance company. Hub left me a policy worth $2 million. They're trying to avoid it. I'm not just cleaning out emotional addicts here. I'm trying to pay off the relentless packs of howling bills. Look, you're working for Van Harter, right? That implies Hub set him up and skipped out, right?
Mm-hmm.
How much is he paying you?
Something we're negotiating.
Well, you prove whatever you want about Van Harter. But if you can come up with evidence that Hubbard is dead, I'll pay you whatever he's paying you.
Not necessary.
All right, but I'll do it anyway. Now, what else do you need to know?
Nikki Nose.
Oh, another one of those losers Hub liked to keep around.
Sometimes a man surrounds himself with losers so he'll feel more like a winner.
Present company accepted, of course.
Of course. John Tuckerman.
John and Hub went to school together. John isn't stupid. He's just not altogether centered. He loved Hubbard like a dog. But he was a man. And give the devil his due, Hub never used or abused him. John was Hub's best shot at a relationship. Isn't that sad?
You think Tuckerman told the truth about what happened that night aboard the Julie?
I don't know.
Nice rod. Glad about your husband being gone?
Getting gladder every day. It's been a rough decade, Mr. McGee.
Any idea who might have wanted him dead?
You mean besides me? Not a soul.
Morning. I'd like to ask you a few questions about a lady named Kristen Peterson. I understand she used to live in one of your apartments.
I'm not interested in answering any questions about Miss Peterson. Do you want me to call the sheriff? You an attorney?
What's your name?
Stanley Moran. And who exactly are you?
Well, Mr. Stanley Moran, I don't want you to keep asking me questions. I'm not here to answer questions. I'm here to ask them. Maybe you'd like to call Mr. Boggs and get his opinion on whether or not he thinks you ought to ask me a lot of questions.
Why are you smiling?
Because the angrier I get, the more I smile. It's more of a nervous anxiety. When I break out laughing, I usually start hitting people.
Come in.
When did she leave?
How many times do I have to answer that?
Stanley.
March the 23rd, the day after Mr. Lawless' tragedy. Don't ask me the time. I don't know. Nobody knows. I do know that she had a visitor early that morning, before dawn even, and she left with him.
Any idea who it was?
The foggiest. I just heard her voice. Now, I was gone all day, but when I got back, her apartment was cleaned out and her car was gone.
And she didn't leave a forwarding address?
She didn't leave anything, except a couple of pictures I can't make head nor tail out of. You can hardly figure out which way to hang them.
You don't sound too fond of her, Stanley.
She made very derogatory remarks about the decor. Now, I've worked hard to make these units livable and comfortable. She had no reason to call them vulgar. Took down the original oil paintings of the ocean. Really beautiful. One on black velvet. Hung up those tacky prints of hers.
May I see them?
You can have them. They're garbage.
I see what you mean. The world is full of contention and contentious people. They won't tell you the time of the day without their little display of hostility. Meyer thinks it's just a reflex. I think it's an affirmation of importance. Boy, if I were king of the world, I'd roam my kingdom in rags, incognito, dropping fortunes onto people that are nice with no special reason to be nice. And I'd have my troops lopping off the heads of all the mean, embittered little weasels who try to inflate their own self-esteem by stomping on yours. There'd be so many heads rolling around the whole world it'd look like a berserk bowling alley. She burns around?
She comes on at 4. When she does, she's paid to work.
Another bowling ball.
What was that?
Bottle of beer, please. You own this place?
I'm one of the owners, yeah.
I was wondering about these kind of places.
Wondered what?
How you manage to live with all the regulatory agencies who can just come in here and close you down? You know, city, county, state, federal. There's a lot of agencies.
We run a good, clean place here. We don't violate anything.
Hey, there's no way not to be in violation of something. I mean, the rules are sometimes contradictory. You know it and I know it. That's how the establishment keeps you in line.
Who are you?
I'm the guy that came in and asked if Missy Burns was around and got some dialogue about her working obligations. Want to start over? Missy Burns around?
She came in early. Missy!
What's up?
Gentleman here needs to talk to you. Don't take all day.
Hi.
Hi. I'd like to talk to you about that cruise you took last March on the Julie.
That again. Cup of black, Harley. Look, I have talked about that so much already. All I can remember now are the times I talked about it, okay?
I want you to tell me exactly how John Tuckerman worded it when he asked you to come along on the cruise and bring a friend.
Hey, you got that wrong.
I do.
Yeah, he didn't ask me. I asked him. I heard him talking about this trip to San Diego. He was sitting right at that table over there. So I asked him if I could come along and bring a friend.
Well, that's what Tuckerman told you to say. That's not how it really happened, is it?
Lee should tell you that? She wasn't supposed to tell anyone.
I never met Leisha.
I think you faked me out.
I think you lied under oath. Right now, that's just between the two of us.
What do you want to know?
I want to know exactly what happened that night.
Well, like I told everybody and his cousin, we went down to the marina and got on the boat. Leisha Ambar and me. She's working in L.A. now. Anyway, we start out, and I'm waiting for them to make their moves. You know, like we're going to have to pay some dues on account we're so grateful to be on that boat. So, I'm working on my play, except it turns out there's no problem. They act like maybe we're not even there. Anyhow, so we're out to sea maybe 20 minutes, and Lawless fixes a drink and takes it up to the captain. Okay, so now it's getting real rough out, and I'm starting to get sick to my stomach. And Tuckerman, he says I should go up and get some fresh air, and maybe I'll feel better. So I do, and it's like it's cold and windy. And I see the captain. He's laying on the deck like he's dead or something. So I run back down, and I tell everyone. They decide to go back, which is just fine by me, because by then, I'm sorry I said I'd come along in the first place. So they're up on deck, and Leisha and I are turning green down below, when there's this awful jolt, and Tuckerman, he yells at us that Mr. Lawless has fallen overboard and we're to help look for him. I mean, talk about your nightmares. I mean, we couldn't see a thing, and I'm just getting sicker by the minute. So finally, Tuckerman gets us into the dock, and we tell the cops and everybody just what I'm telling you right now. So why do you want to know all this?
I'm working for some people who need to know if Hubbard Lawless is really dead or not.
There was some cold black water out there that night.
A lot of people think he's still alive.
You ask me, he's dead, mister. Real dead.
Well, thanks, Missy.
Hey, if you want to talk some more, you know where to find me.
Thanks again.
Do you mind?
Okay, okay.
If each plan with your mind don't fell through.
Is that her? The famous piano-playing nurse?
That's her.
She's obviously very excited that you're here, McGee. So you think the two girls were aboard only for window dressing?
And to witness the accident, wouldn't you say?
Yeah. Meanwhile, what's on for tomorrow?
I picked up a couple of graphics from Kristen Peterson's apartment. I'd like to get an appraisal on them.
I think I can manage that. What about you?
Back out to Tuckerman's. Take a load of groceries and some deli to Gretel.
Oh. Well, what you're talking about is a care package. When you start hauling great quantities of food to a female person, that means you really care. It always has. I think it's some kind of a primal instinct. The hunter brings the food back to the cave.
Give me a break, Meyer.
Nikki Nose?
Mm-hmm. Kind of a sloppy drinker, isn't he?
There are some days you can't ever forget. It doesn't mean that anything really startling has to happen. There you are, in the midst of your life, and one of those days comes rolling at you. And it's just like one of those magical days of childhood. Like the first Monday after school is out.
Boy, was I young. 18 when David and I got married. Why am I telling you all this?
Because I want to hear all this.
We ran a summer camp for little rich kids. David made a pass at one of the mothers. She told the owners. We got thrown out in the middle of August. Then we got a job running a health spa down south. I ran the exercise classes and kept the charts and organized their days, and David handed out the towels. It was doing so well, they had to hire someone just to do the books. The bookkeeper was cute. Dear darling David ran off with her.
Sounds to me like he did you a big favor.
Ooh, a ladybug. That's good luck. You can't really appreciate the change in John unless you'd known him before. He's an intensely loyal person. When Hub disappeared, it broke his heart. He drank for oblivion. Found some permanent kind, I think. What are you, McGee? Some kind of detective?
No. People have to have a license. They charge fees, they have office phones. I just do favors for friends. Sort of salvage work.
Isn't Van Harter paying you?
He offered me $10,000 if I could clear his name. Old Van thinks his good name is worth $20,000. When I find things for people, I usually keep half. I can't take that kind of money from Van.
I could just spit. Probably Hubbard is sitting somewhere fat and happy, and he's left all this ruin behind him.
How long have you been taking care of John?
6 weeks, since just after the inquiry.
What do you think happened?
I don't know what happened. All I know is what it's done to John. He's out here every day, and he sits in the trailer and babbles to himself at night.
You think he's telling the truth?
I don't even know that for sure. I know he's got something bottled up inside. It's really hurting him.
I think so, too. Thank you for trusting me. I'm going to help you with this. Myra and I will help you. We'll get it all sorted out.
Half of what?
Half the way you look right now.
Come on, McGee. You've been in the sun too long.
Breaks, Nikki.
I could have had you, Magoo. I'll see you soon.
run down the list of items you're supposed to be checking out?
While apparently luxuriating here, I've been reviewing a number of loose ends.
I can see that.
Item. Why would Hub's architect lady leave behind in her apartment 2 lithos by Cholodenko worth easily $10,000? Which is what they were, it turns out. Answer. What's 10,000 when she's helping Hub spend the mill? But I know these girls from Scandinavia. They're like squirrels. They keep everything. Nah. No, she'd have put those pictures in storage if she was really going away.
Yeah, maybe.
Now, do you know something, or are you just intuiting?
I think Tuckerman knows. I'm gonna get it out of him.
What's that gonna do to you and Gretel? Got to you, didn't she?
Why don't you see if you can find out if Lawless was in Mexico before the accident? Maybe January or February.
Get right on it.
See you later. How you doing, Billie Jean?
You and my son, mister.
Look about the other night.
Your vanishing act?
Sorry. Not to be taken personally.
Oh, yeah. Well, as I remember, I was the only other one there.
Have a nice day. The other day, I asked you if you knew anyone who might want to kill your husband.
I was rather flip with you, wasn't I?
Maybe a little bitter. Can't say that I blame you.
I've been bitter a long time, but I couldn't have killed him.
With John Tuckerman?
No.
Under any circumstances?
No. He would have killed himself if Hub had asked, or somebody else, but he'd never harm Hub. We worship our gods. We don't kill them.
But you still think he's dead?
Yes.
Picture I told you about. Sheriff has a man coming back from Mexico tomorrow. Word is he's lined up a half a dozen witnesses who say they saw Hubbard in Mexico after the accident.
Come over here. These things are too old, even for a garage sale. There. Same sleeve I sewed. The one that's in the picture. So, what did Hubbard do? Wear it to Mexico and sneak back here and slip it into the house? I told you. I told everyone. Hubbard is dead.
Got this from Julie Lawless?
She did the sewing.
What made you go ask?
I didn't. I just showed her the picture. She spotted it.
So you're saying our anonymous tourist made a mistake about the date she took the picture? No, I don't like that, McGee. She was too positive. Come on, walk with me. I'm late.
She sure was selling that date, wasn't she? Selling the idea Lawless was still alive.
Hey, maybe our lady architect sent that slide. Maybe she wanted the whole pie. She knew he was going to skip to Mexico, get plastic surgery, and start a new life. Yeah, maybe she couldn't see herself tied to him. Maybe get caught with him, so she pops him, buries him, and makes off with the whole bundle. And then to lay a false trail, sends that slide to me.
Let me ask you a question. Who paid for your deputy's trip to Guadalajara?
I'll be in touch with you, McGee. Fletcher's due back from Mexico tomorrow. I want to know immediately when he gets here.
Yes, sir.
Outfit called Action Unlimited in Laguna Beach. They handle all the travel bookings for Hub's company.
So Lawless was in Mexico before the accident.
Right. Flew to Guadalajara. Spent a couple of days hunting mountain lions.
Hunting mountain lions. I bet he was hunting a plastic surgeon, too.
But who went with him?
John Tuckerman.
You know everything.
Well, that's your job.
BJ told me all about you.
Take it easy, Nikki.
Don't tell me how to take anything, narc. What are you talking about?
She told me you turned down a grass, coke, everything.
Makes me a narc?
Yeah, it makes you a narc. Then you pumped her all about me, right? Me, that spells it out pretty clear.
Why don't you just go home, Nikki?
Think I'm gonna let you take me out?
What was all that?
I don't know.
I'll kill you! I'll kill you!
What do you want?
I want to know how you got Nikki so charged up. What'd you say to him?
I didn't say anything to
Now, you
her.
listen to me. Whatever you said to him made him come after me with a shotgun. And he shot to kill. And then he ran out into the traffic and got hit. And killed.
He's killed?
What'd you say to him?
I told him that you came here after him. I thought that he'd fight you, that's all. I thought maybe you'd get beat up. I didn't think that... I didn't...
It's not your fault, Billie Jean. Nicky killed himself.
I let Nicky stay loose. I was hoping he'd lead me to his connection. A little late now.
Yeah, for Nicky, too.
Send Fletcher in. One thing about this boy, Fletcher, he's not too god-awful bright on the best of days. Right, Fletcher, Travis McGee. Sit down, Fletcher. That's an awful lucky break, you getting to fly down to Mexico with Mr. Tanoy. You know, we could never have shaken loose enough money to send you down there.
Well, I may not be what you call fluent, sir, but I was able to help him a lot. That's what we're here for, isn't that right, sir?
I'd go along with that. Now, just so I'm sure I have it right, tell me one more time. Are you absolutely 1,000% positive that Hub Lawless is in Mexico?
Well, I'm 1,000% sure that he was there. We did find that same sidewalk cafe where that picture was taken.
Now, let's say a body came drifting in this morning, say, and we just got a positive back from the lab on the dental work, and it's Hub Lawless. Not looking too good after 2 months in the water, but teeth in fine condition.
Honest to God, the body did come in?
I thought you had him all nailed down in Mexico. Something wrong with your investigative work down there?
No, sir, absolutely nothing wrong.
Work out real nice for that insurance company and for Mr. Tanoy, who works for him, if they didn't have to pay Julie Lawless, wouldn't it?
Yes, sir, I believe he does get a percentage commission.
Oh, $2 million. Must be a real fat commission.
Yeah, I guess so.
Now, this report says that you have 5 people willing to swear that they saw Hub Lawless in Mexico in April. 5 good, solid, reliable witnesses. People we could put on the stand.
Well, we never told them that they'd have to do that.
Did Mr. Tanoy give them anything for their trouble?
Yeah, a couple of 100 pesos each. Like $20, Sheriff. Just something, gratitude for their time.
Put you up in a nice hotel, did he? Nice room?
Yeah, it was real nice.
Good food, good booze, little nightlife, maybe a senorita or two.
Now, take it easy, Sheriff. Like Mr. Tanoy said, it actually is just like a vacation. There's no reason we shouldn't have a good time as long as we're doing our job.
Maybe he gave you a little bonus, too, huh?
Well, not exactly a bonus.
Well, what?
A little souvenir, a silver belt buckle. Well, like Mr. Tanoy said, It's all but certain that Hub Lawless did take off with that money, and it's not right that a man should rip off an insurance company. When a man rips off an insurance company, then the rates go up for all the rest of us.
Get out of here.
Sir? Makes me sick to look at you. Get out!
Where are we now?
I'd say somebody sent you that picture and faked the date. Somebody who wanted everybody to think that Hub Lawless was still alive. Maybe somebody who had access to the film and Hub's camera from his Mexico trip in February.
We know Julie didn't do it. I don't believe a lot of other people. Just Kristen Peterson and John Tuckerman.
You're not making any sense, Travis. Here you have the golden opportunity to be alone with her. To play the strong, romantic wanderer of the seas, your best role, by the way, and you invite me along. Now, exactly what do you need with an aging cruise director?
She's bringing her brother along. She just doesn't want to leave him alone. Look, she's been living out there for over a month like a hermit. She needs to get out of there.
How's Tuckerman going to react to being out on a boat again?
I've been thinking about that.
Go back now.
What's the matter, John?
I've had enough of this. Let's head on back, you hear me? Head on back.
Recognize where we are?
Yeah, there's a marina off there. That couldn't be more than a half a mile.
From what?
That sandbar you hit?
Hub used you, John. He left you behind and went away with Kristen. You don't owe him anything.
He planned the whole thing, didn't he? He took the money and took the girl and ran off and left you holding the bag. He isn't worth protecting.
Don't say that!
It's all right, Johnny.
Just don't say that. You don't understand. Hub was my best friend. I was his. Not Kristen.
Then why'd he leave you behind? Why'd your best friend take the girl and the money and run off to Mexico and leave you behind?
I don't know. I don't know what you're talking about, please.
What'd you put in Van Harter's drink?
Bourbon and water.
That's a lie!
Where? You drugged him.
No, you leave me alone. Hub! Where are you, Hub? You gotta help me. I don't know what to do. They don't believe me.
It's a lie, wasn't it, John? Everything you said about that night was a lie, wasn't it?
How many times do I have to tell you? He pointed to starboard. I turned the boat. We rammed the sandbar. He fell in. I couldn't find him.
No.
I looked everywhere for him. He was gone. He fell in. I couldn't find him.
No, you drugged Van Harter. Then after that girl saw him lying there, you and Hub went ahead with the rest of your plan.
That's not true.
What was it, John? Was our dinghy waiting out on that bar for Hub? Or just swing in close to shore and let him off and then head back out? What happened?
Liar! Liar!
God's sakes, man, tell me the truth!
Travis! That's enough.
Meyer! Bring her about!
There's nothing worse than coming down on somebody when you know they can't take it. Tuckerman was lying to me, and it made me mad. He knew the truth about Van Harter, and I wanted to hear him say it.
After a while, John and I both settled down and he told us his side of the story.
I tried to talk him out of it. I really did. But he wouldn't listen. He said everything was going to hell and the only way to salvage anything was for him to leave and take everything he could. I guess that included the girl.
What happened that night?
Well, that happened pretty much like you said. I dropped him off as close to shore as I could, maybe 50 yards. He had on a wetsuit and an inflatable life belt, so we figured he could make it easy. And then I took the boat out and rammed the sandbar.
And he called the girls up topside to look for him.
Mm-hmm. Afterwards, I took the boat in and called the sheriff, and I stayed there at the dock, and I answered everybody's questions, and then I took the car and drove out to the beach early in the morning, and I found Hub in the trailer lying down sweating. He said he'd run into a riptide and could hardly make it to shore. He finally landed a long way down the beach. The wind had chilled him. And by the time he got back to the trailer, he had this terrible pain in his chest, and his shoulder was starting to hurt. He said he thought there was something really wrong with him. So he sent me to bring Kristen back from town, and I did. Anyway, by first light, he said he was feeling better. He said he didn't think it was anything serious, that it was probably just exposure. He told me that they would send for me in 10 days. And then he took off in the Jeep and she took off in the car. And that's the last I saw of him. And he never sent for me.
If I hadn't believed Van Harter's story when he came to me for help, I never would have come down here in the first place.
Poor John. Keeping all this inside.
Well, it's out in the open now. Pressure's off. Maybe he'll come around and start feeling better.
What are you going to do?
I don't know. You think John will go in there and tell him the truth?
I think they took such a beating on this, they'd be glad to put anybody in jail.
Gretel, I don't know what to say to you. I'm sorry. You gonna be all right out here tonight?
Yes.
Well, somehow things always seem to look better in the daylight. I'll come back in the morning and we'll talk to John.
So, Van Harter was drugged, and Mr. Lawless and his mistress may not be living happily ever afterward in Guadalajara.
Well, I'd like to speak to Mrs. Lawless, please. Travis McGee. Thank you. At least he isn't.
Do you think he's living at all, happily or otherwise?
Mrs. Lawless, sorry to bother you so late. Something more I need to know about your husband.
I thought we'd exhausted that subject.
Did he have any history of heart trouble?
Yes, he had a coronary about 1.5 years ago. The doctor warned him he was a prime candidate.
How serious was it?
Well, serious enough for me to take a CPR course. Not serious enough for him to change his lifestyle.
Thanks, Mrs. Lawless.
Do you know something I should know?
No, not yet. But I'll be in touch. Good night.
No.
No what?
No, I don't think he's living at all.
I didn't really want to deal with what was coming that morning. I had decided that unraveling the Hub Lawless mystery was just a reflex on my part. I didn't care about Lawless or John Tuckerman. What I really wanted to do was pick up his sister and run away. Hey, Gretel. John? Gretel?
Told you I'm hurrying, Hub. Can't you see that? Going as fast as I can to get you out of here. Get you on your way. Don't I always do what you want me to? Don't I? No! Wasn't like that. I go away and leave you. That's right. And I stopped her from doing it, Hub. She was gonna leave with all our money. Couldn't let her do that, could I? Don't you worry, Hub. You're safe now. Gretel almost found you. But it's all right now. Told you I'd take care of things, didn't I? Don't forget. You promised. You send for me as soon as you get settled. I'm hurrying. Honest I am. Going just as fast as I can go. Up. Get away!
It's all over, John.
Wait! Why'd you do it? Hub doesn't want to talk to you.
I'm not talking about Hub. I don't care about Hub. I know about Hub. Why'd you have to hit Gretel?
My sister?
So we know he killed the Peterson woman. What we don't really know is why.
Passion, man, passion. Love, hate, jealousy, revenge, whatever you want. It was just like Tuckerman said. He went out there the next morning and found Lawless hurting in a trailer. He went back to pick up the girl like he was told. Only when they got back, Lawless was already dead from the heart attack. Tuckerman had given his life to that man. Mrs. Lawless said he loved her husband like a dog. Now here was this woman who'd taken it all away from him. Christian was the one that fed Hubbard the big dream that finally broke his back financially. In Tuckerman's mind, she killed him. So he killed her and buried them both. He held himself together just long enough to cover his tracks, answer all the questions, and put you on a false lead. Then he crawled into that bottle and fell apart.
McGee, I feel real sorry about kicking Van Harter. Everybody was in a real panic out there that night. I guess I just got kind of caught up into it, you understand?
I'm not sure that I do. I never kicked a man when he was lying down.
I thought a lot of old Hub myself, you know.
Yeah.
Nice working with you, McGee.
Me too, Hack.
Mr. Meyer, Van Harter will have his license back in a couple of weeks.
Well, the good news is Van's going to be one happy sailor.
Wait till he finds out Julie Lawless paid my fee.
You all right?
Yeah.
She seems to be an exceptional person.
Gretel? Yes. Yes, she is, Meyer.
What are you going to do about it?
I'm going to ask her to go home with me.
On what terms?
Any terms she wants, as long as it's permanent.
Well, good choice, McGee.
I've been thinking about your proposition. Probably this is exactly the right time for this to happen. To you.
Something's been going on with me the last few years. A bleakness. I don't know what to call it.
I can't be somebody's remedy. Some kind of medicine for the soul.
That isn't what
I've lived enough of my life for somebody else. I've got this alarming capacity for blind loyalty like my brother had. Fierce loyalty. I need that loyalty to be to me for a while. Do you know what I'm saying?
Harter and Van Harter.
I really do love you, Travis McGee. Where's Meyer?
Meyer was going to lie around the pool for a while, tie up some loose ends.
He's really a nice person.
Maybe we both are.
I have a track record that tells me not to trust my instincts. I have been undone by scoundrels, sir.
And probably scoundrels have been undone by you.
Sometimes.
I'm not ready to give up hope for this yet, Gretel.
Forever hopeful. I think that's a great place to be. I might have to come looking for you, McGee.
I hope you do.
When you going home?
In the morning. There are always a lot of victims in the kind of games Hubbard Lawless played. People like Van Harter and John Tuckerman. People who spend a lifetime working hard to build up whatever it is that's important to them, only to have it snatched away from them by somebody else. There is a cynical streak that runs through me, and every once in a while it manages to get the best of me. Fortunately, I've learned over the years that there is a cure for this particular malady, and that's simply doing something for somebody else. I guess that's why I stay in the human salvage business. Now Van Harter would get his license back, and everything else that went with it. He'd be a happy man again, and I had a stake in that happiness. So there I was, feeling good again, except that the girl that I'd come to really like was back there alone on the beach where I found her. But somehow I knew I'd be seeing her again. The wind was building. It was good to be at sea again.
Alright folks, that concludes Travis McGee, a film I've watched now for the second time in as many years, and there were some interesting new perspectives that I discovered this time around. First off, Sam Elliott is Travis McGee. He played the role so convincingly that it felt like it was written for him, even though it wasn't. The way he balanced McGee's weary cynicism with a deep-seated moral code was pure magic. However, Elliott's intensity didn't always match the movie's tone. It's like he was playing 3D chess while the script was stuck on checkers. The story, adapted from John D. MacDonald's best-selling novel The Empty Copper Sea, explores themes of loyalty and redemption, concepts that I now appreciate more upon rewatching. There's something poignant about Van Harter's plight, the tarnished reputation, the quiet despair, that somehow feels more relevant today. Richard Farnsworth's understated performance really hit me hard this time. It's subtle but deeply affecting. On the flip side, the film's pacing was as glacial as Travis's laid-back lifestyle. Some scenes felt like superfluous filler, and while the Florida setting effectively captured McGee's world visually, it didn't fully embrace the atmospheric tension of the novel. The mystery lacked the bite needed to keep you on edge, which is a shame because the bones of a really good thriller were definitely there. One thing I caught this time was the relationship dynamics between McGee and Katharine Ross's character Gretel. There's a lot left unsaid, and in some ways, The ambiguity made it compelling, but it also felt like a missed opportunity to deepen the emotional stakes. So was it flawless? No. But it still was very much worth watching, especially for Elliott fans like myself. It's a fascinating glimpse into his early work before he became the legendary actor we all know and love. With that said, I'm giving it a final rating of 3.5 stars. Now, I want to hear from you. What did you think of Elliott's take on the character, and how did the movie land for you overall? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and if you enjoyed this review, make sure you hit the like button and subscribe for more of my content. Thanks for watching, and this is Holy Critic signing out.